In this video, we will look at how the Irisbond Duo eye gaze camera can be used with its EasyClick Pro software to play games on iGazeGames.com in Windows. The website works when you are using your eye gaze camera to control the mouse cursor position and a left click. Dependent on your eye gaze camera and the Windows control software you use, you may be able to use some of the different options available on the site, such as using an inbuilt centralized dwell, or when more direct and immersive control options are available in certain games, for instance. With the Irisbond Duo camera's EasyClick Pro software, you move your eyes to control where it clicks. You have a few ways to do this. You can use the Keep Left Click Active option, the Click with Zoom option, or the mouse movement option. You may find that you prefer to use different options for different games. If you have access to EasyClick Beginner, you may also consider this an option for playing on iGazeGames.com. So we will also cover this briefly, and we have a separate video on using the EasyClick Beginner software on the site. If using the left click or Keep Left Click Active option from the Pro toolbar, you will have a desktop gaze bubble that shows where you are looking on screen. You can left click at the point you stop moving your gaze, using a dwell, blink or switch, depending on which option you have chosen to use in the EasyClick Pro's options. This method can be used to interact with the on-screen buttons that are used to control many of the games. For instance, here to select the buttons, we hover our gaze over the buttons and use the EasyClick Pro's dwell option to select them. Some game modes use more direct control rather than on-screen buttons and require the Windows cursor to be used to recognize where a player is looking, such as for the more direct control modes used for steering vehicles in OpenDrive and iDrive, and for aiming in Gazy Golf. The gaze bubble that follows your gaze in the left click or Keep Left Click Active modes won't be recognized to control them this way. However, there are alternate controls using on-screen buttons available that can be used instead. The Click with Zoom option will also have the same restrictions with these games. It can be used to select buttons on the site, but not for these particular control modes that need to reference the Windows mouse cursor position. If you do want to use the more direct control modes using control of the Windows mouse cursor, the mouse movement option from the Pro toolbar will enable you to move the Windows cursor using your gaze, giving you constant control of the cursor position that the site can recognize. For instance, here we are using the dwell option in the EasyClick Pro software, and we can look at the buttons on screen to hover the mouse cursor over them and dwell for a set amount of time to left click and select them. When using the mouse movement option, you can also choose to use the iGazeGames website's own inbuilt dwell, which has the advantage of being centralized on the on-screen buttons, which some may find can help keep their eyes on a target to select it more easily. You can find this inbuilt dwell option in the iGaze settings on the iGazeGames website, or when using the setup wizard. If using this feature, please be aware that you can't turn off the click option in the EasyClick Pro software, so your dwell, blink or switch click will still be active in addition to the site's inbuilt dwell. You are able to turn off the click in the EasyClick Beginner software, however, so that may be an option for players who would like to use the Windows mouse cursor to play those games more directly on the site and or use the website's inbuilt dwell option. The site's inbuilt dwell time can be adjusted in the iGaze options on the website and in the setup wizard, You can also choose whether you are able to select a button repeatedly without looking away and back to a button, and also choose the dwell appearance between a pie or a shrinking animation. Using any of the 3 mouse control modes we have looked at in the EasyClick Pro toolbar, you can interact with the website and many of the games using either classic or precise control modes, 2 options you can find in the iGaze settings on the iGaze Games site. Often the precise mode will allow you to select smaller targets to interact more directly with games, whilst classic gives you a larger on-screen button. For the 3D games such as Open Drive, iDrive and Gazy Golf, precise mode will also let you play more directly, whilst changing the style of gameplay quite considerably in some games as mentioned earlier. As we said before, only mouse movement from the EasyClick Pro mouse control options or the EasyClick beginner software will allow you to play using these precise controls in these games, but classic can be used with any of them. As an example of the controls in the 3D games, when using precise mode in Open Drive, the vehicle will follow your gaze as you move the mouse cursor. If playing in classic mode, you will instead have on-screen buttons to select to steer the vehicle. In Gazy Golf, when using precise mode, the trajectory of the ball will follow your gaze, whilst in classic, you will use the on-screen buttons. If using precise mode, you may find that adjusting smoothing in the settings in the EasyClick Pro software helps to make steering feel more responsive and so easier to control. This option is also available in the EasyClick beginner software. Choosing very low is the most responsive when you move your gaze, making the vehicle feel like it is turning quicker. You can also check the options within the different games to see what settings can be changed for controls and gameplay too. To try the games yourself and play for free, visit www.igazegames.com.